Dinner Made Easy show and on the $5 Dinners Facebook page. I'm a little bit more scattered than normal today, but I'm super excited and I want to get started right away because I have lots to talk about in today's Instant Pot Pork Carnitas recipe. This is actually a recipe we shared a while back on our website. My friend Amanda Long from The Homemade Cook shared this one with us, and I'm going to share it with you here today. So here is what we're going to do. I'm going to share 3 ways to do this, and in the order from least intimidating to most intimidating. The first way to do this is to take your pork roast, cut it in half. If it's more than 4 pounds, I would cut it in half, just because it will pressure cook and shred better that way, and the time will be shorter as well. And you can brown it in a saucepan or a skillet. So that's the most least intimidating way, where you brown it outside of the Instant Pot and then you pressure cook it, just pressure cook it in the Instant Pot. So that's one way you could do it. That I would say would be the least intimidating way. And we'll get to the buttons in a second. But brown it in a skillet or a saucepan, pressure cook it in the Instant Pot. Second, I guess, least intimidating way would be just to put it into the Instant Pot and use the slow cooker function. Okay, so you're going to put the pork roast, the broth, and the seasoning in and use the slow cook function. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to push for that because it might vary. Follow your user guide. But for mine, it's pretty easy. You just do slow cook. Mine defaults to 4 hours. If you want to do it on low, that's a little bit tricky. Here's a quick tip for slow cooker. Slow cook on the slow cooking time on the Instant Pot, and I'm using the Instant Pot Duo, is 4 hours, but it will stay on the warm setting. So I would most likely cook low for 4 hours, and you can adjust the slow cook setting to low. The lower, there's 3 temperatures: low, I think low, medium, and high, or low, normal, and high. And then you can let it sit on warm for, normally with a slow cooker, I would slow cook on low for 8 hours. So I would do low and then let it sit on warm until you got home from work or whatever. So that's the second way. So first is brown it and then pressure cook it. The second way, brown it outside of the Instant Pot and then pressure cook. Second way, slow cook function in the pressure cooker. Third way is to use the saute function on the Instant Pot and then switch it to pressure cooker. So it's kind of the one pot way to do it. So you're going to have a little less cleanup, but it's going to be a lot less intimidating. That is the more intimidating way to do this. So that's the 3 ways. I wanted to share those off the top, and then now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. I try to keep our Dinner Made Easy shows under 10 minutes, but this one is going to be a little bit longer because I'm going to show you the saute way. Okay, so I'm going to flip this around. The saute in the Instant Pot and then the pressure cook after that. First things first, we need to get this warming. So we're going to do saute first. So this is an Instant Pot Duo. Yours might be slightly different. I'm doing adjust to more, and then I already adjusted it to more. Okay, I would have hit adjust and it would have gone from normal to more. I had already done that though, sorry. The last time I used it this way. So it's warming up now. And now we have to wait. And when it says hot, it'll take a couple minutes. It's basically preheating. This is basically preheating. And when it says hot, I'm just going to start now so I have something to do for a second. We're going to drizzle in oil. We're making Instant Pot pork carnitas. And the way we're doing this, I'm showing you, there's 3 ways to do it. You can brown the pork roast outside of the Instant Pot in just like a skillet or a saucepan and then pressure cook it, or you can slow cook it in the pressure cooker, or you can saute it in here like we're about to do and then pressure cook it after that. So that's what we have going down. We're waiting for this to warm up. I knew this was going to take a while. I'm sorry it's taking a little bit longer and this is super boring, but here it comes. It's going to turn hot here real quick. You can see it sizzling. I have a small pork roast. I'm not doubling this one up, so I'm not cutting it in half. If you have a larger pork roast, you might want to cut it in half. I would say more than 4 pounds, you probably want to cut it in half. I'm going to do the fat side first. Getting there. I'm waiting for it to hit hot. The thing with the Instant Pot is once you get the hang of it, it's really easy. It becomes this sort of like set and forget thing. Kind of like the slow cooker. What were those cookbooks that came out? Like, I don't know. Oh my goodness, probably 25, 30 years ago, maybe. Like the fix it and forget it. I feel like that's what's happening with this sort of Instant Pot electric pressure cooker revolution. And so, yeah, I'm sorry you're having to stare at an empty Instant Pot with oil in it. I think it could be any kind of pork roast. I think for shredding pork like this, something that's like a shoulder roast or a butt roast. I'm not sure that I would shred a pork tenderloin that I have pressure cooked, if that makes sense. I think if you're going to pressure cook a pork tenderloin, you're going to be more like slicing it instead of shredding it, if that makes sense. The shoulder roast, a butt roast would be great. I think that's better for shredding in to use like. I'm going to use these for tacos or carnitas. I'm getting super impatient. I think I would just want to kind of cheat and get started. I'm going to do that. I should, well, it's going to be hot. Woo! Let's go. I'm impatient. I didn't wait, but that's okay. We're going to just let it sizzle for a couple minutes. I'll season each side. You're welcome. We're going to add seasoning now. We're also going to add seasoning after we've pressure cooked it. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little salt and pepper and garlic powder now. I'm going to add, and I'll add the recipe here in a little bit. I'm going to add salsa and taco seasoning later, but I'm going to pressure cook the meat and seasoning by itself right now. These are our handy spatulas. I love these. These are our new spatulas. Yay! Okay, I'm going to flip this. Here we go. There we go. That's a better choice. If that meat had been smaller, it would have flipped, no biggie. All right, a little bit more seasoning. I'm going to do 40 minutes on the pressure cooker on high on this one. If it was a larger roast, one of the reasons I like to cut them in half is so that the time doesn't get too high. Also, if you're doing a really, really thick roast, you might need to pressure cook for up to 60, maybe even 70 minutes. Over time, and as you use your Instant Pot, you'll figure out, especially with roast and the thicker cuts of meat, how long it takes. So because of the high pressure and the way that the pressure cooking actually works with the meat, it's, yeah, okay. Here we go. I'm going to cancel this. Totally just canceled it. And now I'm going to add stock, about a cup. Well, I wasn't prepared, but everything is right here. Hi, Charlie. Say hi. Good to see you. My son Charlie's sitting right here. I'm going to add about a cup of stock. This is going to sizzle. That's to keep this nice and humid inside of the pressure cooker and to help soften up the meat. See that? Okay, this is totally off. Now, I see I've done the saute, the seasoning, the broth, we canceled it out. Now we're going to go, I'm going on manual mode. We're going to increase, the last time I used manual, it was a 6-minute steel cut oats cook. And I'm going to increase this to 40, I'm going to do 40 minutes. I think that should be good. Again, with roast, it's a little tricky. It can range anywhere between 40 and 60 minutes. It likes to sing. Come on now. There we go. All right. So I've, what do you say? Put the lid on? Screwed the lid on? That's not the right word. You kind of screwed the lid on. Okay, here's what we need to know about this. When we screw the lid on, I did cancel that again, by the way. We need this to be sealing. We need sealing because we want the pressure to stay inside of the pressure cooker. So we're going to seal this. And then now we're going to set it to manual. Okay. And I already had adjusted it to 40 minutes, and it's going. So now what's going to happen is we have our 3 beeps, which means that the pressure is going to start to build inside of the pressure cooker, and then it will start cooking. So this is, I think, a common misconception. I want to make sure that, so the Instant Pot has this fantastic reputation for cooking food fast, and it really does. A pork roast in 40 minutes is awesome, but there's also going to be anywhere between, it really ranges what you're cooking, anywhere between 4 and like even up to 20-25 minutes of pressure build, and it depends on how warm the ingredients are inside of your pressure cooker. I don't think this one's going to take very long. So in a few minutes, the pressure will have built, and this will flip to a countdown, and this will start at 40 and count down to 0. When it gets to 0, that means it's done. This particular model will beep 6 times, and then it's time to release the pressure. This is the part that makes everybody nervous. There's 3 ways to release pressure. In this case, we're going to let natural release, and so what that means is when this finishes cooking, I'm not going to open the lid right away, and I'm not going to open the vent right here. I'm going to let this pressure come down naturally, and that will take anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes. If you get impatient, you can do a quick release, but I prefer to let the natural release happen. So you need to build, so all this to say, you need to build in time at the beginning to let the pressure come up, and at the end to let the pressure release naturally. You don't have to do the natural release. I recommend it for most recipes. There are quite a few you can do the quick release for as well, but the natural release is well. So now this is done. I don't have to worry about it. It will beep, and then I'll watch the timer. Once this turns off after the 40 minutes, it'll go to the warm setting, and then the timer will count up. And that's when you know that when the timer gets to 10, 15, 20 minutes, that's when you know that it's safe to flip this over to venting and then open it up and it's done. It won't overcook the meat. No, this will not overcook the meat. That's one of the reasons that we seared it to seal the juices in, and that we added the broth. We have about a cup of broth in there with the pork roast. Pork roast, it tends to be leaner than a beef roast. I guess it depends on the cut you get, but it tends to be leaner, so I like to add a little extra liquid in with this one. That's what I know about the Instant Pot pork carnitas. When this comes out, I will shred them. I will mix in salsa, taco seasoning. If I wanted to add an onion in there with that, you could have. Just know that when you add vegetables in with a roast like this, they will completely soften. Like they will soften because it's in there for 40 minutes. You could, when this is done at the end of the 40 minutes, you could add the vegetables, seal it up again, and pressure cook it for another 5 to 10 minutes. So that's what I like to do with roasts and vegetables. If you were to do like beef roast and and potatoes and carrots, and you did it all together at the same time at the beginning and ran the pressure cooker for 50, 60 minutes for your beef roast, your potatoes are going to be they're going to come out like mashed potatoes. They're going to be really, really, really overcooked, essentially. And so when you're doing roast, do the meat and then add the vegetables and do another high pressure for 8 to 10 more minutes, and that will cook the vegetables through. Okay, so much information right there. There's so much more I want to tell you, but I want to keep this short. Those are the 3 ways to do Instant Pots, the pork carnitas in the Instant Pot. They are on Amazon. Highly recommend. They were huge sales. I've been seeing sales since Christmas. And if you have any other questions, you can let me know here. I also have a new class coming out that will help you get your Instant Pot out of the box. We're going to talk about these tips we've shared just here and so many more. There's so much more I want to tell you about all this, and that's why we're doing it. That just happened. So the pressure build time is over, and my 40-minute countdown will begin now. We will see you guys tomorrow for the Daily Dish. Next Wednesday, of course, we'll be back with another Dinner Made Easy show. And I can't wait to share next week's recipe with you. And I will see you tomorrow on the Daily Dish around noon Central Time.